Where do you think God was when he created the heavens and the earth? Who is his father? Who is his mother? These are questions that challenge the very core of human understanding, because we are bound by time and space. But God is not. The Bible declares in Revelation 1:8, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. This means that before anything existed, God already was, and after everything ceases, he will still be. He has no beginning, and he has no end. Unlike humans, who are born and then die, God is self-existent, needing nothing to sustain him. He is not like an earthly king who inherits power or a created being who has a point of origin. Isaiah 44:6 says, Thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. This is why no one can ever claim to be equal to him, because, before time itself was created, he alone existed. But some may ask, if God created everything, then who created God? The answer is simple, no one. Psalm 92:2 declares, Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Unlike everything else, which has a cause, God is the uncaused cause. The one who started everything but was himself never started. That is why when Moses asked for his name, God simply responded in Exodus 3:14, I am that I am. God does not depend on anything. He is self-sufficient, all-powerful, and completely independent. Every person, every nation, and every star in the universe has a beginning and an end. But God stands above all, untouched by time and change. If you want to see God with your physical eyes, you must die. Exodus 33:20 says, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Why? Because his glory is too overwhelming for mortal flesh. It is not that God hides himself, it is that human beings are too weak to stand in his full presence. Even when Moses, the great prophet of Israel, wanted to see God's face, God only allowed him to see his back, for his full presence would have consumed him instantly. But how strong is God? Imagine the most powerful army on earth, the strongest storm. The fiercest wildfire, all of these are nothing compared to God. Job 26:14 says, Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand? This means that even the greatest displays of nature's force are only a whisper of his true power. He speaks, and galaxies come into existence. He stretches his hand, and oceans part. He breathes, and life begins. No weapon, no kingdom, no force in the universe can stand against him. When men challenge God, they are like ants trying to fight the sun, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. This means that the greatest empires of the world are like dust compared to God. Kings come and go, but God remains forever. When Pharaoh challenged him, his army drowned in the Red Sea. When Nebuchadnezzar became proud, he was reduced to an animal until he acknowledged God's sovereignty. Even Satan, who once rebelled against God, was cast down like lightning from heaven, proving that no power can stand against the Almighty. So, before the heavens and the earth were formed, where was God? The answer is that God is not confined to a place. Jeremiah 23:24 says, Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? He exists beyond time, beyond space. beyond the limits of human reasoning. Some say, if I cannot see him, then he does not exist, but that is foolishness. Can you see the wind? No, but you can feel its effects. Can you see gravity? No, but you are held by its power. Likewise, though you may not see God with your eyes, his presence is undeniable. The air you breathe, the beating of your heart, the order of the universe all testify that there is a supreme being who holds all things together. Colossians 1:17 says, "And he is before all things, and by him all things consist." This means that without God, nothing would exist. Science can explain how things work, but it cannot explain why they exist in the first place. That is because everything ultimately comes from God. So, who is God's father or mother? The answer is no one. Unlike us, who were born into this world, God was never born, he has always been. John 1:1-3 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made." This means that before time began, before there was a single atom in the universe, God was already there, fully complete in himself. He does not need food, water, air, or sleep. He does not age, weaken, or change. Malachi 3:6 says, "For I am the Lord, I change not." This means that the same God who spoke to Moses is the same God who reigns today. The same God who parted the Red Sea is the same God who holds the universe together. Now, here is the real question. Do you acknowledge him? The problem with the world today is that people want to replace God with their own wisdom. They want to believe in science, but not in the one who gave them the ability to understand it. They want to believe in the universe, but not in the creator of the universe. They want to believe in their strength, but not in the one who gave them life. Psalm 14:2-1 says, "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God." And yet, whether people acknowledge him or not, he remains God. Every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that he alone is Lord. So, what should you do with this truth? You should worship him, serve him, and obey him. If no one is before him and no one will come after him, then that means he is the only one who truly matters. Your money will fade, your beauty will fade, your power will fade, but God will remain. Isaiah 40:8 says, "The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever." If you want to live forever, if you want to be with him, then surrender your life to him now. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." God, the Eternal One, has made a way for you to be with him forever. Will you accept him? Will you bow before the one who was, who is, and who is to come? The choice is yours, but remember, no one was before him, and no one will come after him. He is the first, and he is the last. Worship him while you still have breath.